So welcome everybody, and nice to see apart from members of the committee here, a number of members of the public as well. So thank you all for attending, and I know some of you have seen your other council roles. We'd start with public participation. If anybody would like to speak, we are very happy to hear from you, but we would ask you to try to keep it to 2 minutes, if that would be possible. Would anybody like to?
Yes, I mean, we have a number of people here from Windmill Lane, the unmade, unadopted portion of Windmill Lane, and we were hoping that we'd be able to discuss with you whether it's possible to work with you to improve the condition of the lane, because it's one of the busiest routes into the schools into town, and obviously it's the condition of the lane is not very good at the moment. It's suffering from a lot of water leakage, and we're keen to be able to improve it. But
yeah, would you like to go ahead and speak, because it is sort of relevant? We've got you know, a number of us have been interested in Ladders Lane, yes, for a long period of time. So,
yeah, I've got a briefing here. Yeah. Maybe,
but if you, yeah, I'm happy for you to share it if you'd like to.
What shall I pass these around so people can just read it
great
quickly,
yeah,
and then just run through it quickly?
Really,
I mean, the situation is it is a public right of way, which is open road traffic. It is non-adopted, and it is not a private road. So our understanding is that there is no landowner recorded in the land registry. Therefore, the responsibility for maintenance lies with the frontages, which are the owners of the properties that front onto the lane. So over the years, the majority of residents have sort of maintained their strip of land outside it and filled the worst potholes. But the majority do, but not everybody. But what it's become harder to do that, because obviously there's more traffic, the cars are bigger and heavier, a lot more people are commuting to school in cars, and therefore combination of that and significant issues of water runoff from the made up bit by Inverhorn School, which when it's heavy rain, the road is basically a stream, and the condition of the road is it's passable for cars, but it's not really suitable or safe really for pedestrians going up and down. Young mums with strollers and things find it very, very difficult. So what we're hoping to do is to engage you, and sort of our position is, and obviously, you know, you have to decide what your point of view is on it. We believe that you have the same obligation as the owners of the far side of our lane, which is West Sussex County Council, both schools. We all share the same obligations to maintain the road. So what we would like to be able to do is to sort of like work with you, and by teaming up, and we're not trying to avoid the cost. We don't want the road adopted. We prefer it as a green lane. It's very safe for the children to go to school. We would just like to try and do more to improve it.
Thank you. I realise the area you're talking about. I suspect a lot of this will fall down to actually West Sussex highways. We've got some Bullbins councillors here, and John DeBell's the county councillor for it.
Hello.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. I think personally that we should be talking to the water company to help you, because that was reported by Sue on numerous occasions, the leak, and I reported it as well. That you started in February, wasn't it?
Yes, that was a water leak outside Inverhorn Lower School Gate, and it was something valve which hadn't been fitted properly, and it did cause problems down there. But there is also a ditch. Now I went back to Richard, whose name I can't remember, who's retired, Richard Spouter, because there is a ditch down the side by the hedge, which is Inverhorn School, and he used the phrase riparian responsibility. So for the ditch.
And I think a lot of the
Yeah.
water runoff misses the drains as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
just begins to flow down the lane.
but the drain itself, sorry, is the runoff for the drains on the Maydart bit.
Mm.
Now, apparently that doesn't, sorry, I've been in town council business long enough to know that you don't always join the dots, but in fact, if they empty that drain down the side, which obviously would cost money, then it would mean that there would be less damage to the actual made-up bit of the road, because the puddles all sit there, the ironwork is sunk because the drains are, so there is more, sorry, it goes beyond just us going, we'd like a nice road, sorry.
Windmill Lane also suffers very badly with blocked drains all the way along,
Yes.
which is something I have been bringing up, but
The runoff of the drain
If
goes
you're-
underneath the car park, sorry, I apologise, John, but the runoff of that drain goes underneath where the staff park their cars.
I mean, I don't, if it's all right with you, if you, now you've raised it, we will take it up with the various authorities and, just councillor.
I just, yeah, you sort of mentioned you don't want it to be adopted. I just wonder why, because obviously
so
that would
exactly.
potentially,
Well, exactly what's happened to Dorset Avenue, because that was exactly the same situation. It was unmade. This is where I live, where my parents live. West Sussex had a jolly wheeze to actually adopt it and then force the residents to pay for it, for a road that they didn't want. It's just, it's very, and so I quite understand why you are
Is that-
reticent to allow it.
If I could
because
let-
it
is
a
that
rat
the
run.
reason why? What I'm just
Well,
trying to
it is- I
understand.
mean, if you, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
But it's,
I went to
you know,
school
it's a
over there.
nice area for dog walkers and people to stroll and have a chat,
So for the kids.
you know, and it's much safer if you then made it so that it's suitable for people to drive through.
Fine.
It would be totally the wrong approach and totally inconsistent with what I believe your aims are.
Which also
Understood, thank you.
feeds into one of our aims, which is safe travel to school.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah, and I
definitely.
think that one of the key things is in sort of doing some of the research, it was, you know, there's been various committees on byways.
Yeah.
And I think it's about an appropriate level of maintenance.
Yeah.
I think one of the key things there was the road should be permeable. It should not be, if you like, tarmacked. It just needs a sort of a sensible capping layer of reasonably robust material, you know, grit.
Mr. Roberts, Mr. Selleck, if
Yeah.
you're happy, if you,
Yes, we can-
has Sarah got your contact
Sure.
details? I
Yeah.
know we've got no, oh, you've got your
Yeah,
email there,
yeah.
yeah. Just if we make sure we've got those, but I think we'll give an update at the next meeting, if that's all right, what we've been
Yeah.
able to assimilate. in-
And what I would quite like to be able to do is, because I've done some sort of rough costings of what, you know, it would take to improve it significantly, is maybe I could let you have that.
Yeah.
Just to give you a better idea of the kind of amounts of money, we're talking a relatively small amount of money. You know, because we've continuously over the years have chipped in and, you know,
Yeah.
gone and bought stuff. And I think if we just teamed up,
Yeah.
we could do a lot more.
I'm sure we will look, that's what we can do. I know it's not going to be it's town council's responsibility
No,
to maintain the roads, so I'm
Absolutely.
going to not put us in that position, but I'm sure we can try and speak to the various
Yes,
authorities and see if we can get things progressing in a way that would be suitable for residents. So if it's okay with you, we'll progress and report back at the next meeting.
okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome
I've
to
got
stay
to,
on.
no, I've got to leave. I've got a granddaughter to move.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to see you too. It's Christine Maidstone lives there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Next to the doors.
Paul Brown, Mr. Brown, House Brown.
Thank you very much. I'll stand up, if you don't mind. 2 minutes. I wanted to talk about the consultation, West Sussex County Council active travel consultation, which I made a response to. I was very disappointed with it, really, because as you know, it's promoting 6 rather expensive intertown cycling routes with, you know, a very high cost. And also, it mentions the local cycling and walking infrastructure plan for the 3 towns, including East Grinstead, and no chance of any of that really, because as we know, the local infrastructure funding is so small that arises from. You may have some Section 106 money, I don't know, but probably not. So my question was, is this committee in a position to earmark a small amount of funding so that you can look at some grassroots projects, like for instance, one that's when I cycle through East Court, avoiding Buckwell Hollow, I go down, and of course I'm usually going up the Holteye Road, and I want to turn right there. So a little project there that that should be quite achievable. The grassroots project would be to have a no right turn except cyclists, such that cyclists, I believe, should be able to turn there quite safely. So my question was, would it be possible to get county advice on whether that is a safe procedure and enable it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Obviously, the chairman of the committee, normal chairman's not here this evening, but I am aware that the East Ridge Town Council did respond to that consultation as well, emphasising the need for stronger and more routes in the north of Mid Sussex, including within East Grinstead. I know cycling and cycle storage and cycle routes was high on the list of things to do, and I believe it's the intention of the committee. I think this is all pretty much the first or second meeting of the committee, so we are finding our feet a little bit, but we will be trying to identify those types of projects and sort of quick wins that we might be able to achieve. I know the budget does have the committee does have a small budget, but we will be progressing that over the course of the budget setting process, and I hope that it will evolve such that the committee is able to make those sorts of recommendations. But as you say, it has to be in conjunction with West Sussex, who at the end of the day are also going to be the decision makers. So I think you'll find that our aims are shared in that respect. But we will obviously make that, and we will report back on that at the next meeting as well.
Thank you very much indeed.
All right. What's that?
I'm Ross Belly and
Yes.
Cycle Forum, the East Grinstead. I just want to ask any more information about the adoption of the bridges in St Margaret's Loop. You might be aware that the community highway scheme that I initiated with Ms Bennett is now actually being done. So that's one end of a really good route from the station to, as well as providing a quiet route for people going to Queenbit instead of using their cars. That's the whole idea. And can I ask how the bike bus meeting went at Gosford Park School? Is that going to all be brought up in the meeting, and the cycle racks? That's it really. I just wanted
So
to keep you for the
yes,
progress of
that's
the things that
great.
you talked about.
Yeah,
last
so the bike
Thank
bus is coming up later on the agenda, and I think St Margaret's Loop is coming up at A&T on the 7th of December. So it's actually falls within the Amenities and Tourism Committee of the Town Council on the 7th of December. Sorry, and I think that has been a difficult project, which I'm sure you're aware, just with the nature of the ownership of the loop and trying to ensure who has responsibility for it going forward for each of some of the bridges and some of those sort of challenging aspects. So we will keep you updated, and again we can just report back at the next committee meeting as well, if you like, this makes sense. Thank you very much for the public questions.
I've got something.
Sure, we haven't got much time left, but please feel free to go ahead.
And I can just highlight, I came because of information that I read in the East Grinstead Matters about cycling. I just want to say that these cycling routes are non-trivial. My contemporaries say, I'm not going to cycle, it's too scary. And as we all know, it's keeping fit that keeps people well into old age and saves money in the long term. So the things that scare me on the East Grinstead Road, and maybe I haven't seen this local thing, so I'd really like to see that. Where maybe you can give me information where I can find information. It's where this on the A22 where the cycling route suddenly ends. There's no information for drivers that's going to happen, and suddenly you're shunted off to the side. It's also on Beeching Way where the cycling route suddenly ends. Also, I don't know if you found this, though you're shaking your head. Also the bushes are not trimmed. So you find yourself cycling along, hitting the face with a bush, which is also dangerous. And some of the ironworks on the roads where you cycle are, the tarmac is broken, so you have to move out to make your time. So some very simple things. But also I was delighted to see that this is also an environmental and sustainability committee, and I'm thrilled with that. And I'd love to know who's the person to speak to about it. I've got lots of comments. I mean, who's done the training, for instance, and I could perhaps talk to them.
So firstly, would it be possible to get your name, please? Sorry,
Yeah,
we normally
Sue Bolton, I did write to.
have- okay, to the clerk or?
Did I respond to you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Ah, okay,
yes, I
brilliant. So
did,
you've got, Mrs. Bolton's contact
Yeah, I
details.
have, yes.
Brilliant. Okay, I mean, feel free to feed into the officer team with Julie Holden as the clerk and Sarah as deputy clerk. Steve Odie is the chairman of the committee, and I know he would be interested to get people's views, as would all of us as members, but probably it would make sense to go to Sarah if you've already got correspondence sent to Steve Odie as the
I think
chairman.
Steve also responded to you.
Yeah,
too, didn't he?
Okay.
so I'll
Yeah.
talk to him directly.
Yeah, if that's all right with yourself, and I know Steve's very passionate about improving our cycle routes, so he will be working very hard on your and other sides as well. All right, thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. And feel free everybody to stay for the rest of the meeting. Okay, so moving on to the main agenda, thank you for all the contributions there. Apologies for absence, the apology is for Councillor Steve Odie.
Yeah, who's actually joined us on Zoom, so he is present on hotel room, yeah, and on Zoom,
Okay,
thank you.
welcome Councillor Odie, Chairman, on Zoom. Item 2, to receive members' declarations of interest. Do you have any other declarations of interest? No. Item 3, to approve the minutes from the meetings on the 19th of October 2023. Are we happy to agree those minutes? Or show of hands, just agree?
Ask for a second.
Second.
Could I get a proposer for those minutes?
I'll propose.
Councillor Gibbs, Councillor, I wasn't there, sorry.
I'm happy to second. And approve.
Vote.
And approve.
Show of hands, please. Thank you. Okay, Chairman's update. So the Chair and the Clerk met with West Sussex Highways Manager Adam Denby. One point that he's coming back to us is regarding the best strategy to progress with the routes from the LC WIP, which is the local cycling and walking infrastructure plan. Loudales Lane was also discussed, and it was confirmed that now it's been confirmed that West Sussex County Council own the land, but they're currently deciding whether to adopt it as a public right of way or as a vote. Yes, exactly, as a
It's a what?
a proper highway, it's a proper highway.
Byway open to all traffic, a boat.
I'm sure we all appreciate that Loudales may be a good alternative route from the A22 for walking and cycling, and it will be interesting to see if we can link that up into St Margaret's Loop at some point too. The A&T committee will be considering the proposal for releasing additional car parking spaces for the installation of more bike storage, and that's at East Court, and that will be in on the meeting of 7th of December. If the committee approve that recommendation, then it will come back to this committee to discuss further once costs have been obtained, as if they want to move ahead with this project using funds from this committee's budget. And in respect to that, or in respect of our wider environmental and sustainable aims, we've had made contact with Lara Southam, who is the head of Regeneration and Sustainable Economy at Mid Sussex, and we will be having a meeting with the chair of this committee, and Sarah's deputy town clerk will be having a meeting with Lara to discuss potential projects and actions that could move forward from that.
Sorry, did I hear you, was it storage at East Court, or was it bike storage that might be in the town? Sorry, I
No,
didn't quite hear. East Court, so it's
Yeah.
bike storage in East Court, okay, thank you.
There is going to be some bike storage at Checkermead. We're getting some, yes, get some funding from Mid Sussex for that.
Okay, item 5, delegated decisions. So, coming note that the clerk, in discussion with the chair and vice chair, has agreed to allocate the balance for the cost and purchase and installation of the SID poles. The allocation, estimated to be 2,200, will be met from the Sustainability and Enhancements Budget Reserve and will be reported back to public services. And we're also asked to note the council's response to the West Sussex County Council LC WIP, the local cycling walking infrastructure plan document, and the active travel strategy consultation supporting the district council's response and making further comments. That's just for noting. That document has been circulated prior to the meeting, was sent prior to the 15th of November, which is the consultation deadline. But we do need to approve the allocation of budget for the SID poles as approval by this committee. Can I ask that we approve the?
Agreed.
Second first?
It just says.
Is it just noting?
I think we need to approve it. as it's a-
Okay,
so
so
I think
everything
we
needs
need
to be
to
proposed
propose
and
a seconder
seconded.
and
Okay.
then.
Well, I'm happy to approve it.
I'm happy to second.
Happy to second, and a show of hands then in favour of approving the delegated decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 6, the environmental and sustainability policy, which has been circulated it's here for approval for this council. So you've got the opportunity to review. I know we're also going to look at some of the comments and ideas from Southern Sheeting proposal. And I think the suggestion is, this is a new document for us, that we might take a little bit of time to just reflect on it and to make sure we make it as good as we can. At the start, maybe take, for example, with Councillor Farron, Chair and Vice Chair, and as an example, could look at some of those other ideas and other comments that might be put forward now, and then have another look at the document back at this committee in December. But if anyone's got any comments in respect of the environmental and sustainability policy, feel free to raise them now and we can throw them in the mix. Councillor Pond.
Thank you, Chair. So I think I loved it. So firstly, I think it's a great thing to have this policy because it clearly states what we as a council strive to achieve. I just wanted to sort of, and this was sort of throughout it, just I've written the word balance. I think we just need to, we had like right at the bottom of objectives, last bullet, eliminate risks to the environment where possible. Now I know it's got the where possible, but I think that was just throughout the document. I think we just want to use like words consider, mitigate, imbalance, in alignment with. I think sometimes it was just a bit strong that we will kind of almost get rid of everything, you know, come rain or shine. I think we will strive to do that, and we really want to achieve that. I think some of the language just was a little bit, and I'm happy to sort of provide my comments afterwards, was just a little bit strong that, you know, not in balance with everything else, or considering other factors. And then one more, just I think we could just reference the LC WIP. More around the bullets on the, I haven't got page numbers, top of page 2, I think it must be, or the bullets on page 2, support community initiatives with grants where possible. I think again, we've got the LC WIP, we've got the active travel, we want to try and coalesce around that.
Yeah.
So absolutely, and hopefully these community initiatives would be in line with that, but we want to try and coalesce around those things rather than sort of have little projects here and there that aren't really joined up. I think it's around doing a couple of things well in line with that rather than, you know, sporadic spending on that. Otherwise, I thought it was a really good document. I think that was it. I've got something on biodiversity, but that's next.
Thank you. Councillor Farron.
Thank you. My only thing, I just thought the mission statement was quite long. I just wondered what other people's opinion was about, whether we could just tweak it only a little bit, just tweak it down slightly, or was it was fine as it was. I don't know, was I being picky?
You won't want it any longer.
Well, let's
No,
assimilate that into the comments, that's the way to stand up.
I started to look at it, but I think I just have to be easier to look
And
at
from
it.
my side, one of the comments I'd make is knowing how relatively small the carbon footprint is of the town council for the town parishes, for the parish as a whole, just whether there's more we can put in to encourage residents and community support, sort of national initiatives and other things that encourage other people to take to act to reduce their own carbon footprints as well. Because there's only so much we can do. We need to bring the residents and
what
our
they can-
community with us on the journeys is to make sure that we're seeking to make the most. Councillor Mockford.
No, I'm waving my arms about something.
As you do.
Yes, no, I just think we should be brave.
Yeah, okay.
I think we should be very brave. I think I would like to see us suggesting that some of our planning proposals have far greener credentials about them.
Well, one of the things that we could do as well, Councillor Gibson, who's in the room, we worked on Mid Sussex district last night, looking at the emerging district plan, and that's bumping up as it looks refreshing. Maybe there's some wording there that we can use. We had a lot of discussion about coulds and shoulds and wills and will be required and those types of things, because the nuances are really important. So perhaps we could have a little look at some of the sections and see if there's some language we can
Thank you, Chair. I agree, but as a policy, we started with something good and strong, and we can add to it because it can be reviewed annually. So once the district plan is done, we can obviously then start on our neighbourhood plan and therefore put the other bits and pieces in here. So we can tweak and add those things as we need to get the ducks in a row, and I think it'd be good to put those in and move them.
Personally,
On a
it's
regular
things
review.
like where they're going to build allotments, like with these big developments, I want to see a reservoir, a big tank reservoir, which is then used for watering, which is fed by rainwater. It's just simple.
But it sounds like I think the town clerk's got an update on water butts and things like that, which might sound very appropriate for that. Councillor Pond.
Yeah, so one of the revisions I think which captures this, I think it's already there, which is 1.6. The council will consider revisions for the review of the neighbourhood plan in respect of environmental and sustainability. So I think that's where we, as updating that neighbourhood plan, can add that.
Yeah.
And if we believe that we want to do something as a town council around a particular area, then obviously we can look at, you know, the environmental biodiversity as part of that. So I think, yeah, it's around getting that neighbourhood plan, I think, to incorporate that when we revise.
Okay.
And I think just as well, just being consistent.
Yeah.
Councillor Person.
Thank you. Yes, I think it's very much a mission statement, and eventually these are almost headings that will be expanded and suggestions be made. I mean, just to say that one of the bullet points is prevent pollution to land, air and water. Well, obviously, then it's what steps will, everything will have to be expanded with suggestions and actions. And I think this is just really the basic bones of a mission statement that eventually we will expand with actions that we suggest that could be put in place.
Yeah, so I think this is, we're saying it's sort of very well intentioned, but we then just need to, as we grow into this, we will try and back it up with firm actions and policies to.
Very good start.
Yeah, exactly. Town clerk, have you managed to pick up on the?
Thank you, yes, thank you for asking.
Okay, so I think the proposal is that this will come back to committee and we'll also take on board comments from Southern Shooting. Councillor Gibbs.
I don't know if it's really a point worth making. You might be the man to speak to about this, actually, given your last role on the cabinet from MSDC over the last few years. As is, do you think this sort of mission statement, if you like, will carry much weight with the district? Would they look at it from their point of view and think, actually, I mean, it probably isn't a question you can answer, but actually, yes, we could, would it be encouraging, do you think, in your opinion?
I think so. Well, I was
A lot
so
of-
some of these things are actions for our town council to do, which we have control over. Others, it's just a bit, what we were saying earlier, a bit about influencing the wider community to try and encourage them. And I think the other ones are where it does coincide with the district plan, we've got the neighbourhood plan refresh. I think we can't refresh the neighbourhood plan until after the district plan has been, the district plan journey needs to start before the neighbourhood plan journey, I think, so, I'm pretty sure that's okay, I'm just, someone's very critical.
I think you can, but it would be unwise to do. I
Exactly.
think it's more the point.
So, but I think it would be sensible for us to have an open dialogue with it to the extent it affects the district, but otherwise I think we can power our own fire. If everyone's happy with that, then I'm happy to propose that we take on board the draft and the comments made this evening and to bring it back to the next committee meeting. I'm happy to propose it. Can I second it?
Happy to second that, Chair.
Councillor Farron and Councillor Sheffield, please, thank you. So that's agreed. So item 7, the biodiversity duty policy, we've been sent draft documents. If we approve that, it will go to FNGP committee. So have we got any comments in respect to biodiversity duty policy? Councillor Pond.
Yeah, we've just touched on the fact that the neighbourhood plan would be a good place to put some of these. So I think I didn't see it referenced. So I've written neighbourhood plan. So I think if we could just reference, that we intend to include biodiversity in consideration in the next neighbourhood plan would be point 1. I think on that, and then not enhancing. So the second paragraph in blue, I just thought we could be. It's a bit. Where was it? I've written not enhancing. Or why have I written that? This is going to council funds. I think it was just conserving. I think we could be a bit bolder. We could look to enhance.
Yeah.
So there may be a bit of brownfield site that actually we could, through either direct purchase, through speaking with the landlord, working with business, whatever, actually enhance it. So I just thought complete contrary to what I said on the other one, which is I think we're going a bit too far on preventing, eliminating. On this one, I thought conserving was a bit too, limiting. Thank you on that. And then just right at the bottom, I was a bit confused, and maybe it's just me. Bottom in black, in brackets, excluding parish council. So I was confused as to whether we had to or didn't have to do this, and maybe I just didn't read it in the right conjunction.
Town council we do, yes.
So
It excludes parish councils.
So is it just the report we don't have to do? We have to have a policy but not a report?
No, we have to do
We
all
have
of
to
it.
do it, we're a town council,
Because
not
we're
a
a town
parish.
Fine, thank you. I always get the two confused because I think they're used interchangeably. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other comments?
I wholeheartedly agree.
Very readable as well,
Very good.
It is, yeah.
which is always helpful for people like me.
So can I suggest that if we recommend this to FNGP, that we recommend it as drafted, but just taking on board Councillor Pond's comments, just as the chair and Deputy Town Clerk want to make any strength and feel any strengthening might be appropriate, that they strengthen it appropriately.
We don't want to just consider, we want to do.
So can we give strong consideration to making those changes?
We need to do a
So I'll happy to propose that and Councillor Moffat to second. And can we have a show of hands to approve? Thank you. Okay, so item 8, the environmental assessment document. We've got a list of various actions. I don't know what everyone's got in terms of their printing or vaping or CV actions, etc. But very happy to take on people's comments in respect of the actions. Okay, I have some information from the town clerk. So the committee is to review this document. Councillor Odey would like to suggest expanding and actually rename the document to include other projects such as bike bus, bike hire, events, litter picking, etc., so that it can be kept up to date with progress. So therefore, it becomes not necessarily all actions that are within the town council's responsibility, but ones that we have an interest in, and maybe asked to provide grants for or to support, etc. So we find it easy if we were able to be kept up to more progress with that. And the suggestion is that obviously the chair and council point from a planning perspective, myself as vice chairman could have a meeting to discuss some of those extra actions that we might introduce and try to keep it as a simple and easy to read document. Councillor
I would like to see inclusion of voluntary groups that do exactly what we're talking about, like the tag team that are doing litter picks through the year in town, have one in December. And the rejuvenation of East Grinstead in bloom, which is going to help no end with the biodiversity side. So the inclusion of voluntary groups as well, so that you can all come and join in.
Where would you consider putting that down, instead of us having it as a category, would you have it as a status of who in the action, as rather than as a status? So where at the moment you will say, town council or Alison Merrick or anything like that, would it have a list then of the voluntary groups that would fit into the category that way, as opposed
and
to
the
being a
contact number of
category?
the chairman or something.
Rather than being a category, we could have a sub, couldn't you, of contacts?
Yeah.
Would probably work better than putting them in as a category, I feel.
Or we make those all subcategories and
just
make category internal, external, or volunteers.
External groups,
yeah.
what they do, contact, some sort of nature of activity.
Because the tag team have created an orchard, which is something that we should be trying to do as well, more of. Land from Clarion.
Is that terrace and
North Down Terrace, yeah.
Okay.
Just on that point, do we publicise and maybe link to that? Do we put on our East Grinstead Town website? Do we promote any of those?
Would be good.
Groups in terms of litter pick in December? Is that on our website, or is that something we do?
Definitely highlight, couldn't we?
No, it should be.
We may already.
I know, the answer
I've
to
got
that
really think they do,
We may
they do
well.
advertise it. I don't know where I've seen them, they definitely advertise
Could
it.
be on what's on.
What's on East Grinstead?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also know they do, when they do anything around East Court, they put flyers out, notice boards, so you can just turn it on and, you walk the dog and go, oh, I can do that on, so they do advertise it in some ways.
Wow.
But I'm not sure it's on the website, but I know I've seen it around, yeah.
So again, proposal that we just update it, taking on board these comments. And all noted, so I'm happy to propose, can we have a second, please?
I'm happy to second.
Thank you, councillor Farron, we will chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
It is going to be another growing document, isn't it?
yeah.
It is by the nature of the business.
Do we have an update, Chair, on the car charging points?
I don't have any update on that, I'm afraid. I will look to get that for you next meeting.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so item 9, bike bus, and to receive a report on progress in the scheme at Hassel Park Primary School. So this has been circulated to council, as Odie is looking to make a visit to the school to assist with the promotion of the scheme, and further information is being obtained from Sustrans. Does anyone have any comments or questions with respect to the bike bus?
I'd just like to thank Councillor Odie actually for getting this up and running and actually visiting the school and actually having the first meeting. I know Ros wants to hear how it went. I think it received, you're not supposed to speak. It was received really well, and he got his first volunteer. So it's still at the beginning stages, but I think it's something that will go into fruition. So we'll keep us updated more, but it was very well received.
Good.
I think the deputy town clerk was there as well, was the
Yes, I
deputy,
was,
so I
yes,
don't
I
know if the
was, yeah,
deputy.
no, it was a very well received meeting. We went to the parents' forum, and what Helen has said, sorry, councillor Farron has said, is correct in the respect of we had a volunteer, and we're just looking at all the sort of health and safety aspects of insurance and trying to find out some further information on those areas. to make sure we've got ticked all boxes with risk assessments and things like that. So councillor Odie isn't going to go to the school plates because they haven't got enough room for us. It's a bit of a busy event, but we're making another date to do that, and also probably a meeting with the lady that's volunteered to help as well, to move things forward.
So just, yeah, on that, just if, Roger, if you haven't seen the report, so it's one of those ones where you've got really, there were really good intentions to, you know, to kick it off and to make it happen. It's just dotting the i's and crossing the t's for the insurance, health and safety, safeguarding, sort of volunteer routine, etc. But I think Councillor Odie would say that the aim is to get the scheme up and running in the new year. So we've also had confirmation that PCSOs are willing to support the scheme and offer advice in respect to the route if needed, and perhaps attend initially on the day if they get advance notice of the date. So it feels that there's a lot of positive goodwill towards making the scheme happen.
Good.
Can I ask, is this likely to run out to other? I know we looked at Blackwell Primary School at one point having it, so is that the intention?
They're trialing
They're
it
trying
first,
it, yeah.
and then the aim is yes.
Yes, that's great.
Yes, the trialing first and somebody's going to cut their teeth on it, so to speak.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, I think is that report just from noting, just going to keep this.
Yeah.
Noting. So we have to note that report.
Noted.
Thank you. Date of next meeting, so we're very lucky this committee meets monthly, so we get to enjoy each other's company even more. So we've got meetings on the 21st of December and 18th of January at 7 o'clock. So I'm sure we can note those. And there being no other business, I'm happy to close the meeting at 7:43.
Thank you, Chairman.
Is that recording?
Oh, yes.
I'm not sure.
21st, I think.
21st.